Continuing with Exodus 23:20. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee to the place which I have prepared. Take heed of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy to thy enemies, and an adversary to thy adversaries. For my angel shall go before thee and bring thee into the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Canaanite, and the Hivite, and the Yebusite, and I will cut them off. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and completely break down their images. And you shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. None shall miscarry, nor be barren in the land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. I will send my fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come, and I will make all thy enemies turn their backs to thee. And I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before thee. I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the wild beasts multiply against thee. Little by little I will drive them out from before thee, until thou be increased, and inherit the land. And I will set thy bounds from the sea of Suph even to the sea of the Philistim, and from the desert to the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare to thee. And he said to Moshe, Come up to the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and bow down afar off. And Moshe alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come near, nor shall the people go up with him. And Moshe came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, All the words which the Lord has said we will do. And Moshe wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and built an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent the young men of the children of Israel, who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen to the Lord. And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled it on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the hearing of the people. And they said, All that the Lord has said we will do and obey. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold, the blood of the covenant, which the Lord has made with you concerning all these words. Then Moshe went up, and Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and they saw the God of Israel. And there was under his feet a kind of paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the very heaven for clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. And they beheld God, and did eat and drink. And the Lord said to Moshe, Come up to me to the mountain, and be there, and I will give thee the tablets of stone, and the Torah, and the commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moshe rose up, and his minister Yehoshua, and Moshe went up into the mount of God. And he said to the elders, Wait here for us until we come back to you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters, let him come to them. And Moshe went up into the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain, And the glory of the Lord rested upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. On the 7th day he called to Moshe out of the midst of the cloud, and the sight of the glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire on the top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moshe went into the midst of the cloud and went up into the mountain. And Moshe was in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. And the Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel that they bring me an offering. Of every man whose heart prompts him to give, you shall take my offering. This is the offering which you shall take of them: gold and silver and brass and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram's skins dyed red and tachish skins and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet incense, shoham stones, and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show thee, the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all its vessels, even so shall you make it. And they shall make an ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be its length, and a cubit and a half its breadth, and a cubit and a half its height, and that shalt overlay it with pure gold, inside and outside. That shalt overlay it, and make upon it a rim of gold round about. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in its 4 corners, and 2 rings shall be on the one side of it, and 2 rings on the other side of it. And thou shalt make poles of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark, that the ark may be carried therewith. The poles shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. And that shalt make a covering of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be its length, and a cubit and a half its breadth. And that shalt make 2 cherubim of gold, of beaten work shalt thou make them at the ends of the covering, and make 1 cherub on one end, and the other cherub on the other end of the covering shall you make the cherubim on the 2 ends of it. And the cherubim shall stretch out their wings on high, overspreading the covering with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Toward the covering shall the faces of the cherubim be, and shall put the covering above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. And there I will meet with thee, and I will speak with thee from above it, the covering, from between the 2 cherubim which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give thee in commandment to the children of Israel. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be its length, and a cubit its breadth, and a cubit and a half its height. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make it for it a rim of gold round about. And thou shalt make for it a border of hand breadth round about. And thou shalt make a golden crown for its border round about. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on its 4 legs. Over against the border shall the rings be for places of the poles to bear the table. And thou shalt make the poles of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and they shall be for carrying the table. And thou shalt make its dishes, and its spoons, and its jars, and its bowls, used for pouring out, of pure gold that shalt make them. And that shalt set upon the table showbread before me always. That's Exodus up to 25:31.